A very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television, your one-stop morning show for top stories from India and across the globe that you might have missed during the night, and also the stories that are likely to unfold during the course of the day today. My name is Aishwarya and these are the headlines. Government's outreach to overseas Indian community on Pravasi Bharatiya Divas today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate a first PIO parliamentary conference in Delhi. 124 members of parliament and 17 mayors of Indian origin from 23 countries to take part. 18th All India Whips Conference to conclude in Udaipur today. 90 delegates from the centre and 19 states attend the two-day conference. Government says the purpose of the conference is to strengthen parliamentary democracy and its institutions. Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri elected unopposed and by-poll to Rajya Sabha seat from Uttar Pradesh. Aam Aadmi Party strengthens its position in Parliament to 3 of its members from Delhi elected to Rajya Sabha unopposed. Cold wave tightens its grip over North India. 42 lives lost in Bihar due to extreme cold. Delhi shivers at 5 degrees. Fog affects road, rail and air traffic. And after a gap of 2 years, North and South Korea meet for high-level talks. Talks to focus on North's possible participation in the 2018 Winter Olympic Games in South Korea and ways to improve inter-Korean relations. Our top story this morning, in a bid to tap the unique reservoir of Indians living abroad, the government is hosting parliamentarians and mayors of Indian origin at a conference in New Delhi today. In the first of its kind initiative, 124 MPs and 17 mayors from 23 countries will participate in the meet. These influential people of Indian origin will share their experiences and chalk out a long-term understanding of engagement with their ancestral land. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the conference today, and Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will address its valedictory session.
India has the second largest diaspora in the world, and some of the members of this community who occupy eminent positions in public life in their respective countries will be attending a conference in Delhi on Tuesday. The focus will be on how the India Connect can help in contributing to strengthen India's relationship with their countries.
See how this diasporic family could actually contribute to furthering the relationship, with those countries and facilitate people-to-people contact, which has been emphasized again and again by both Honorable Prime Minister as well as Honorable External Affairs Minister. So this is the first time such a conference is being held. It's also to create awareness amongst ourselves as to how big is the extended Indian family, and to give them an opportunity to connect with India firsthand.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj will be present at the conference. Congress leader Shashi Tharoor, who is the chairman of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Ministry of External Affairs, will also take part in the deliberations.
Again, indirectly gets reflected in economic links, cultural links, people-to-people links, and while these are not always quantifiable, benefits, they are certainly contributing. If today you see that India's image outside is fairly, good or fairly appreciated, a major role has also been played by the diaspora.
In 2003, former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government started the first Pravasi Bharatiya Divas event. Since then, it has played a significant role in fostering an emotional connect with the Indian diaspora.
It will also perhaps create an awareness about how large the extended Indian family is, in the sense that more than 30 countries have people sitting in the parliament of Indian descent. So in a sense, India has accomplished the theme Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or the whole planet is our family in the true sense of the term. We have no doubt that the conference will see us certain upgradation of our relationship with these countries from where these members are coming.
To come to India, sometimes they think, oh, it's so far away, it's so difficult to travel in India, and nobody knows, for example, here in Delhi, how you renovate it, nobody knows. I doesn't know that you have a metro. So this is a part of, I am thinking we have to share more, because the Swiss people, they don't know so much about India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi always makes it a point to reach out to the Indian diaspora abroad. Officials say this not only makes Indians abroad feel respected, but also inspires them to promote India within their countries of residence.
Most of the parliamentarians are coming for the first time to India, and when they will go back, they will share their Indian experience among their peers all over the world and also to their countrymen. And you know, word of the mouth is much more effective sometimes than big books. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha television with camera person Vijay Kumar in Delhi.
And my colleague Akhilesh Suman is now joining us on the phone line for more details. Akhilesh, now to forge stronger ties with the persons of Indian origin across the world, the first PIAO conference is to be held today. What can we expect?
It's really interesting, Aishwarya, to see that parliamentarians of in different countries of the world who are of Indian origin are being engaged. And you know that one of the major achievements that one can say that gelling together with our parliamentarians who are of Indian origin. And you know, they are the ambassadors of India, even though they are not designated. But our people in different countries of the world, they permeate our culture, they expand our culture, and they tell that how our people are. And once Indian government calls them to come to India and see how the Indian infrastructure is changing, how Indian facilities are changing, they will go back to their country and they will tell the people that India is looking far better than it was looking earlier. And you know, it is many times it is more about facilities. When people of the world will come to know that India has become modern, the tourism opportunity will also increase, economic cooperation will also increase. And you know that our whole goal that we should get a rightful place in the Committee of Nations, the United Nations Security Council, these are the issues that we are working for long. And these parliamentarians who are working in their respective parliaments will like to influence their own countrymen, people, own parliamentarians and own governments that yes, India should be supported because India is the largest democracy in the world and India works for peace and stability among the countries and in the world. So I think this is going to be a major achievement, that understanding will be built between Indian government and Indian origin parliamentarians all over the world, and they will work together for coming years.
Right, and Akhilesh, of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to inaugurate this conference, and of course, the conference will end with the valedictory sessions address by Vice President and Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu as well.
Yeah, it's really very interesting to see that while Vice President Venkaiah Naidu will be present as a valedictory speaker, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi and External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj will be there in the inaugural session. You know that India is going to give a message to our parliamentarians who are of Indian origin. I mean to say that Indian origin parliamentarians, that we value them a lot. And we value them that they have achieved something that is very remarkable, because going to a country and becoming a parliamentarian there is really something very important, because you are getting represented and you are getting elected by the people who are not of Indian origin. They are their own countrymen, and once you go there, and I think they have accepted you as their own countrymen. So it is a very big achievement that Indian goes outside and they get assimilated. Like, you know, that many of the people who came from the foreign countries, and India accepted them and assimilated them in our society, in our culture. In the same way, our people who are going outside, they are getting assimilated. They are consciously learning their own language. They are consciously gelling with their psychology, their political culture, their social culture, and I think that this is going to be a big achievement. And Prime Minister's presence, Vice President's presence is in a way recognition of the achievement of people of Indian origin, even in political terms outside the country.
Right. Thank you, Akhilesh, for all those updates there. And the 18th All India Whips Conference will conclude in Udaipur today. On Monday, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anand Kumar inaugurated the conference. Rajasthan Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje presided over the inaugural session of the two-day conference, which is being attended by around 90 delegates from 19 states and the centre.
Speaking at the 18th All India Whips Conference in Udaipur on Monday, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anand Kumar stressed on the role and responsibilities of a whip. He said the duty of a whip is not only to monitor the members of his or her respective party in the legislature, but also to moderate and motivate them. He compared the whips conference to twin rainbows, rainbow of various political parties and rainbow of various states, and stated that parliamentary democracy is the best form of democracy. He added that the purpose of the conference was to strengthen parliamentary democracy, its institutions, and ultimately serve the people at large.
विप्स का इम्पोर्टेंट रोल इसको अंडर एस्टिमेट किया गया, यानी हम जो विप्स है हम कई बार शिकार हो जाते हैं। पार्टी भी हमको आदेश देती रहती है, जो अध्यक्षा करते हैं विधानसभा हो, विधान परिषद हो, लोकसभा हो, राज्यसभा हो, वो चेयर भी हमको निर्देश देते रहते हैं। और उसके साथ जो मेंबर्स हैं वो भी हमारे बारे में कई बार शिकायत करते रहते हैं।
Ministers of State for Parliamentary Affairs Vijay Goyal and Arjun Ram Meghwal also addressed the conference.
Rules and Procedures की बुक है, उसमें भी आपने देखा होगा कि रूल प्रोसीजर बुक में भी जो लैंग्वेज इस्तेमाल करते हैं वो लैंग्वेज है जो एडवोकेट्स वकील ज्यादा अच्छी तरह जान सकते हैं, उसको भी सिंप्लीफाइड कर देना चाहिए। और आप देखेंगे सिंप्लीफाई करके वो बहुत अच्छी बुक बन जाएगी। ऐसे ही आपने देखा होगा कि हम 20-20 क्वेश्चंस लगाते हैं, 15 से 20 क्वेश्चन लगाते हैं, जबकि हमको पता है क्वेश्चन सिर्फ 5-6 आते हैं। वेंकैया नायडू जी जो चेयरमैन उनको छोड़ दीजिए, उन्होंने एक दिन में 15 क्वेश्चन ले लिए, नहीं तो यूजुअली 5-6 क्वेश्चन आते हैं। तो क्यों ना हम इस सब को बदलें, इसकी बहुत जरूरत है।
Rajasthan Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje, who was also present at the conference, said the debates held in the legislature should be cordial and graceful. Being held in Udaipur, the two-day conference is hosting around 90 delegates representing the centre and 19 states. It gives a platform to whips of various political parties to exchange their views and experiences and discuss the challenges they face in discharge of their parliamentary duties. The purpose is also to evolve norms for efficient working of parliamentary machinery. A whip is the member of a political party tasked with enforcing the organization's discipline on its members in the legislature. A whip is the member of a political party tasked with enforcing the organization's discipline on its members in the legislature. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some other news, the Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri was elected unopposed in a by-poll to Rajya Sabha seat from Uttar Pradesh. The seat felt vacant following the resignation of Manohar Parrikar, who quit as the Defence Minister last year. Career diplomat turned politician, 65-year-old Puri became a Housing and Urban Development Minister in September. Also, the Aam Aadmi Party marked its entry into the Rajya Sabha with all three candidates, Sushil Gupta, Sanjay Singh and N.D. Gupta, getting elected unopposed. The induction of these three MPs in the Rajya Sabha takes the Aam Aadmi Party's strength to 7 in Parliament. The party has 4 MPs in the Lok Sabha. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday addressed the valedictory ceremony at the annual conference of DGPs and IGPs at the BSF Academy in Tekanpur in Madhya Pradesh. In his speech, the Prime Minister recalled how the nature and scope of the conference has changed since 2014, appreciating the officers who have been instrumental in facilitating this change. He said that the conference has now become more relevant in the context of challenges and responsibilities facing the country. The Prime Minister also commended the country's security apparatus for the work that they are doing in securing the country. He also mentioned the emerging global consensus towards greater information sharing on illicit financial dealings, saying that India has a key role to play in achieving this. Prime Minister Modi also asserted that cybersecurity issues should be dealt with immediately and should receive the highest priority. In this context, he particularly mentioned the importance of social media. Home Minister Rajnath Singh, Ministers of State for Home, Hansraj Ahir and Kiran Rijiju were also present at the event. And the first phase of the National Optic Fibre Network Program or BharatNet project is ready. Telecom Minister Manoj Sinha said that the platform that uses only Make in India equipment will be a great utility tool for first-time e-governance service seekers. And the second phase will provide the broadband connections to 2.5 lakh Gram Panchayats by the end of March 2019.
The first phase of BharatNet has achieved its target of providing broadband services to 1 lakh Gram Panchayats covering 3 lakh villages. This marks a 10% increase in internet usage in the country and is expected to lead to a 3.3% increase in GDP. All equipment under phase 1 of the project are indigenous and customized to work in rural environment where dust is a major factor.
सबसे बड़ी परियोजना ये है और टेलीकॉम सेक्टर की ये पहली परियोजना है जिसमें एक पैसे का विदेशी सामान नहीं लगा है। सब कुछ भारत में बना है और भारत की तकनीक से ही ये परियोजना पूरी की गई।
Content on the network that has a data speed of up to 1 Gbps is to be developed by telecom operators. In keeping with the government's aim to provide affordable digital services in rural areas, tariffs of the BharatNet infrastructure have been reduced by 75% from earlier notified tariffs.
ये एक बड़ी उपलब्धि है और ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में रहने वाले लोगों के जीवन में एक बड़ा बदलाव इस परियोजना के पूर्ण होने के कारण आने वाला है।
The Memorandum of Understanding for the Phase 2 rollout has already been signed with more than 20 states. Once complete, BharatNet is expected to be the world's largest rural optical fibre network. The government has already launched Phase 2 of the BharatNet project that aims to provide broadband services to all Gram Panchayats by 2019. Once completed, it is expected that the BharatNet project will add 4.5 lakh crore rupees to India's GDP. Reporting from Delhi, with camera person Saroj, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
On to some other news, the government has extended its deadline to link Aadhaar with the small savings schemes to 31st of March this year. A Finance Ministry notification said that the deadline for linking Aadhaar to schemes like post office deposits, Kisan Vikas Patra has been extended by 3 months. Now, as many as 135 schemes, including the free LPG to poor women, kerosene and fertilizer subsidy, targeted public distribution system and Manrega will be covered by the extension. Earlier, the last day for the submission of Aadhaar number was 31st of December 2017. An Italian court on Monday acquitted 2 executives in the Augusta Westland chopper case. The 2 men were facing charges related to alleged bribes paid in exchange for a 3,600 crore rupees VVIP chopper deal to sell 12 Augusta Westland helicopters to India. The court acquitted Giuseppe Orsi, the former president of defense and aerospace giant Finmeccanica. Orsi was at the helm of Augusta Westland when the deal was struck and he was suspected of involvement in the payment of bribes. Also, Bruno Spagoloni, former CEO of the company's helicopters subsidiary Augusta Westland, was released. He was earlier sentenced to a 4-term jail on the same charges and he was also cleared. In December 2016, Italy's Supreme Court had ordered a repeat of the appeals trial. Both the men were given prison term of 4 years and 4 years and 6 months respectively for international corruption and fake invoicing. And Commerce and Industry Minister Suresh Prabhu chaired the 3rd meeting of the Council for Trade, Development and Promotion on Monday. And as part of boosting exports, the centre urged the states to formulate their own export policy. The states have to identify those products and services of interest that have significant potential in the global arena. Here are the details.
As you know, that the
Commerce and Industry Minister Suresh Prabhu held consultations with several stakeholders in the national capital on Monday to give a fillip to export sector and make India an export hub. The deliberation flagged the global and domestic challenges faced by the exporters as well as possible solutions to overcome such challenges. The meeting also provided inputs for a new export strategy by states focusing on integrating India into regional and global value chain.
So 14 states have prepared their export strategy. Goa, Delhi and Sikkim they are in the process of initiating it. So I think this is something which is on the cards. But the good idea is that states are now feeling that is also their responsibility.
The consultations also aim to promote exports by simplification of the GST processes and leveraging benefits of GST. The focus of the deliberations was also on exploring new markets and products as well as increasing India's share in traditional markets and products.
The solution to GST refund lies in the fact that you don't have to first pay and then claim refund. So you're working on a system, e-wallet system, which will not require the exporters to first pay and then refund, but rather than they will be working through a completely different regime.
India's exports rose 30.55% to $26.19 billion in November 2017 on account of improved global demand, government initiatives and simplification of GST refund process. Exports had witnessed a decline of 1.12% to $23 billion in October. The 5-year foreign trade policy has set an ambitious target of India's goods and service exports touching $900 billion by 2020. It also aims at increasing India's share of world exports to 3.5% from the current 2%. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. And as part of his outreach to the Indian diaspora, Congress President Rahul Gandhi addressed the NRI community in Bahrain on Monday. Gandhi alleged that the government is failing to provide enough jobs for the youth and is dividing people on the basis of caste and religion. Promising a new shining Congress party in the next 6 months, Rahul Gandhi said that his top 3 priorities for the country is to create jobs, good health infrastructure and an education system.
Is that you believe India today is free, but once again it is under threat. There are 2 clear threats facing our country today. The first is our government's inability to provide jobs for our people. Our main competitor, China, produces 50,000 jobs every 24 hours. India currently produces 400 jobs in the same amount of time.
And Army Chief General Bipin Rawat on Monday said that there has been a major reduction in Chinese troops at the Doklam region on the Sikkim-Bhutan border. Now, commenting on the track construction by the Chinese workers in Arunachal Pradesh Tooting area, General Rawat said that the matter has been sorted out. Rawat also said that there has been a very major reduction of Chinese troops along the international border. The Army Chief also said that the security forces were trying to minimize casualties on its side while conducting counter-insurgency operations in Jammu and Kashmir.
There's been a very major reduction from the Chinese side. हमारी जो फौज है, human rights का बहुत ख्याल रखती है. और क्योंकि हम लोग ने काफ़ी ऑपरेशन बिल्ट अप एरिया में किए हैं, इसमें क्या होता है कि टेररिस्ट को के पास इनिशिएटिव है, वो पहले फायर करता है, हम उसके बाद फायर करते हैं. तो ऐसे हालात में ऑपरेशन करने में कुछ कैजुअलिटी हमारे को लेनी पड़ती है, लेकिन हमारी कोशिश यही रहती है कि हम इस तरह से ऑपरेट करें कि हमारी कैजुअलिटी कम से कम हो.
Let's get you all the weather updates. And cold wave conditions continue to prevail in northern and eastern parts of the country. Intense cold claimed at least 42 lives in Bihar. And dense fog across the northern plains also hindered the movement of vehicles and train services. In Bihar, the death toll in this season so far has gone up to 42 because of cold. Purnia was the coldest place in the state with 1.2 degrees Celsius temperature has been recorded. Over 12 trains have been cancelled and trains passing through Bihar are running 10 to 15 hours late due to fog. Air traffic has also been affected due to low visibility. In Odisha's Kandhamal's Daring Buddy and Pulbani recorded a minimum temperature of 4 degrees Celsius, while 15 other places registered a minimum temperature below 10 degrees Celsius. The Met Department has predicted continuation of the moderate cold wave over some parts of the state during the next 48 hours. Also in Himachal Pradesh, the minimum temperature stayed at -12.6 degrees Celsius at Kelong in Lahaul and Spiti, while Manali and Kalpa reeled under piercing cold wave conditions with a low of -4.6 and a -4 degrees Celsius respectively. In Uttar Pradesh, educational institutions up to class 8 have been closed till Wednesday in several districts in view of the severe cold wave conditions. Meanwhile, in Jharkhand, Jamshedpur recorded a minimum of 6.3 degrees Celsius, which was the lowest this season. Let's get you all the international news. And North and South Korea today started high-level talks which mark a first for the two nations in 2 years. The meeting is taking place at 10 a.m. local time at the Peace House in the Truce village of Panmunjom. A South Korean government official said that both South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un will be able to listen to the discussions and intervene if needed. The talks are centered on North Korea's possible participation in the 2018 Winter Olympic Games that are taking place in South Korea in the month of February. South Korea also said that it will raise ways to improve inter-Korean relations. The last high-level talks between the two nations were held in December 2015. Tensions have been rising in the years since the North continues to rapidly advance its banned weapons program.
동계올림픽, 패럴림픽에 북측 대표단이 참가하는 문제와 남북관계 개선 문제를 논의하기 위한 회담에 임하게 됩니다. 오랫동안 남북관계가 단절된 상태에 있었고.
On to sports, and India lost the first test match against South Africa by 72 runs at Newlands in Cape Town yesterday. Chasing a target of 208 runs, India were all out for just 135 in the second innings. Vernon Philander took 6 wickets, while Moni Morkel and Kasigo Rabada also took 2 wickets each, as South Africa took a 1-0 lead in the 3-match test series. Ravichandran Ashwin was the top scorer from the Indian side with 37 runs, while there was little contribution from the rest of the team. Earlier, South Africa were all out for 130 runs in the second innings, setting India a target of 208 runs to win. De Villiers fought a lone battle and looked good before losing his wicket. He was the last man to be dismissed as South Africans were bowled out for 130. From the Indian side, Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Shami were the pick of the bowlers. Both took 3 wickets each.
You know, the credit has to go to their bowlers also, because they create relentless pressure, and you know, it's something that we need to counter. Maybe we need to come out and be more positive in the next innings. You know, take their bowlers on and get quick runs on the board, just like they did when they were put under pressure.
There was this flow the whole time. You know, then India's on top, then South Africa's on top, then they're taking the game to us, and then we're taking it back to them. So. Just the advert for Test cricket, that's as good as it gets. It was exciting, as I said, the fans had their full value of money because it was entertainment right through. There was no boring Test cricket.
And that's it from me and my team in this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.